Hey guys, this is a very somber episode of Thor. We just wanted to, talk about the tragic, passing of JDF, Jason David Frank. He was a very big inspiration for me and Z, the whole philosophy behind the R.E.P Knights and what we do and, how we are was greatly influenced by this man. He was a brilliant leader, actor, martial artist, in person. So we just wanted to talk about him. So me and Z are on this pod, and we just want to kind of share our thoughts about this man. Influenced us. This man was born in California, black belt in Shotokan, black belt in judo, he was a master in jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, so many different amazing martial art forms he had. He was a gymnast, he was able to flip and, just basically fly on screen. I mean, when we first saw him, he just blew us away. I will always profess that my favorite Power Ranger, I'm very torn between JDF and Jason, like Austin St. John's character, Jason, the Red Ranger. They were two of my most top guys. So, when MMPR was new, I really these two guys just, they were instant role models for me about, how to focus your mind, be stuff, because I was bullied so bad by assholes, in school, these dickhead motherfuckers, and, I was so sad, and then Power Rangers just lit me up. To this day, I am still that kid who loves that stuff, morphing and, powering up, and I will watch the show, all of them. I love Power Rangers. I love all the cast of Power Rangers. I met a few of them who aren't that good, but this adaptation of Sentai, this is before, when we were young, right? We saw the show. We were we didn't know it was Sentai. We didn't know anything about it being Sentai until we started reading publications that started talking about it being a Japanese show. Back in the day, this is during the VHS era. This is time ago, and really crappy kind of terrestrial broadcast. We used to see Mr. Motivator on the summer break from school. My school was so bad that I just stopped going. I just started getting homeschooled, and then basically what happened was he's you gotta check this out, man. There's this show called Power Rangers, and it's gonna come on ITV. Mr. Motivator is talking about it. ITV are talking about it. CITV or whatever. You gotta see it. So we saw it, and it blew us away, man. It was I still light up every time I hear the Ronwazaman tune. The original MMPR tune just lights me up, man. The songs are so wicked, the tunes are so wicked, Zords are epic, And the thing that really made the show work was, you see, what Saban did is that he cast some really good talent, like Austin St. John, Amy Jo Johnson, Walter Jones, Tui Trang, and Jason David Frank, David Yost and stuff. They made Power Rangers what it is today. It's them. You get what I mean? It's not really everyone say, oh, Saban blew it up and stuff. Saban got all the pieces together, and that chemistry of what everybody is what made Power Rangers what it is today. Now, people can throw out words like cheese, this and that. Yeah, this is some cheesy old school show. I'll just tell them to fuck off, simply because this show for me, taught me to be the man I am today, to be this guy who helps people, uses his intelligence and knowledge and strength to better mankind, and also be brave, in the face of darkness. And that's what Jason David Frank did for me, and the biggest thing I want to do is just thank him for that, because he saved me. He made such an influence on my life. When I was so suicidal, so depressed and sad, that's the hardest thing about the news when it broke. I cried so bad when I heard it, and I was talking to Z about it, because it was we lost our sensei, our kind of uncle, kind of brother figure. And it's been hard the last few days, because I know the rest of the Power Ranger community is hurting too, and people who've actually been close to him. I saw Amy Jo she was taking it super hard. You know, Austin, you know, posted, I saw the Instagram lives when they dropped, because the news just kind of blew up, like on all the socials and stuff. I couldn't even concentrate at work, you know, I was just like thinking about it, like, how can, you know, someone so great, full of positivity and strength, be struggling so much? And this is like the thing about mental health. As human beings, we're ignoring this really, you know, really disgusting disease that affects us, you know, it to the core. And I know what it feels like to be at the very bottom of this darkness. You just get this dark cloud over your head. You feel like everything is shit and you just want to end your life. And I know, I wish, that we could have, like, you know, I don't know how to say that. How to say, you know, it's just difficult, because it's like, he was a great man and now he's lost, you know, and he took his own life, which makes it even sadder, because it was like, what a great person. Why would you know, the question is why, and then you think to yourself, it's not really a question that has an answer that you're gonna get a resolution for. You know, it's a difficult question to ask, so there's no real point asking it. He's passed on, and the hardest part now is to have to live with that. You know, now he's gone from a legendary, amazing actor to still a legendary actor, but now he's like frozen in time, you know, as this legend. You know,
let's talk about like some of the stuff that he did. A lot of the work that Jason David Frank done was very pivotal in how we work and how we show ourselves in our stories, and I think it's important to show that how much of a disciplined person he was. I know that he was great friends with Chris Casamassa, who was the original Scorpion in the 1995 Mortal Kombat film, and they used to spar together and they used to, you know, work together in martial arts. He was obviously a great inspiration to Ray in adopting martial arts in his life and learning, too, isn't it? And Shen too, of learning discipline. Shen
saw Jason, he saw Tommy, and then he studied what are you. This is what I remember. This is my recollection.
Yeah.
You know, Shen could elaborate a bit more, but you know, he's not here right now. So basically, I'm sure he's hurting too. You know, about JDF's passing. But yeah, his what are you karate style, you know, and his dedication to the martial arts, you know, this was an inspiration to that. You know, like,
I mean, we'll never forget his debut as the Green Ranger, all the footage, and Tommy just being his acting skill, like portraying an evil character on the show. And then it was such a small role that branched out into many seasons of Power Rangers. He jumped from the original Power Rangers, he jumped to Zeo, Turbo, Power Rangers Turbo, where he was the leader for a bit before TJ took over. And then he moved on and did a little comeback in, I think, 2003 when he did Dino Thunder and acted as the Principal Oliver, which was really fun. And he was the black goldish ranger, I call it, in that.
It was Brachial.
The Brachial Power Ranger. And subsequent other episodes he's been in, like anniversary episodes, which have been really nice, like the Legendary Battle and the stuff with Once a Ranger, which is an awesome episode. If you want to see something of Tommy, sorry, I call him Tommy, but Jason David Frank's work, watch the Once a Ranger episode, because that's a great episode. Is
that the one where they rebuilt the suit and like corrected the shield and stuff?
Yeah. So when we look at like the film side, I like to look at the film side and say that, you know, he's great as a charismatic leader and a leading man in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. He's also very good in the Turbo Power Rangers movie, which came out after that one. And he did some great stunt work and martial arts in that. And Austin St. John and Amy Jo Johnson came back in those films.
But I thought they were kind of wasted in that film a bit, you know? The problem,
but it was nice.
Turbo is
I mean,
that-
he also did. You could see that he was a very happy guy. Like, he loved working on the show. You could see from the behind the scenes.
There's some rare behind the scenes that we saw, and some like tapes that
so
people
good.
resurrected and released on YouTube. You know, them kind of sitting like everyone's acting all cool, but he's like one of the guys who's like, "Hey, camera guy, come and film me."
Yeah.
You know, like these guys are really
The
cool. I'm
energy
part of
and
the
the
show.
love.
It's so cool. For him, it was like, you know, like how I feel sometimes about stuff, like being a kid in a candy store, and that kind of infectious kind of positivity that he had was so good. And then all the in-camera stuff he did from like season 1 and 2 was epic. One of my most favorite episodes is Mighty Morphin Mutants, which is like got Zeo Ranger 2 footage in it, where they kind of extended like the battle, and he's coming in like he's sort of like, him and Kim are just kind of walking, and then they get attacked by the evil Green Ranger and the evil Pink Ranger, and just that one bit where he like runs, flips, somersaults over the stuntman playing Tommy, and then that wicked series of combo kicks and stuff that he does against the stuntman, that blew me away. Those kind of moves and things he did. And then, you know, when he made the transition to the White Ranger, I loved it. I thought he was so cool. Like his suit, the Dire Ranger suit, was wicked.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Very
always
cool
like a
suit.
height mismatch between the footage and sort of Tommy, but like the in-suit stuff he did, like he
But
was.
that's interesting, because it's nice how you talk about White Ranger, because it kind of entails about what we saw on YouTube about him doing the pilot for VR Troopers, and it was originally called.
I
If
remember that.
you don't know, it was
Yeah.
originally called Cybertron,
Yeah.
but they couldn't call it Cybertron, obviously, because it relates to another franchise.
Yeah.
They'd have
That's
copyright
right.
issues. But JDF was originally gonna be the
Ryan
leading
Steele.
man,
Yeah.
playing the character of Ryan Steele, which was played by Brad Hawkins, eventually in the show VR Troopers, and he did the entire pilot. And if you watch the entire pilot, it has a totally different tone with Jason David Frank in
Yeah,
it.
it has a
And
different rhythm.
it's a nice episode, but it doesn't have the feeling which Brad brought to the role. And later on, they would meet up at cons and talk to one another about that, and it was really nice
because
to see
Brad
that.
actually came back and voiced the Gold Ranger.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
that's the other
Yeah.
connection.
That was another.
So everything
connection,
connects
yeah.
really cool.
I thought Brad was a really wicked actor, and I thought VR Troopers was good, but it just ran out of footage. You know, they were using Space Sheriff Gavin, you know, and stuff like that, and all the Matilda kind of characters to try and like splice that footage.
Yeah.
So they just kind of ran out of things to do with that. What did you think of the movie the first time you saw it?
I thought it was awesome. I loved I mean, we can talk about it in a separate pod. We want to just focus on commemorating Jason David Frank, and you know, show in the video the kind of the amazing stuff he did and how he inspired people. I liked how he was trying to always be, after he did his MMA career and he fought in MMA, he spent a lot of time going to like Morphicons, PowerCons, lots of events in California,
He would
which I
always
thought
go to
was
cons,
really
wouldn't he?
great, and met lots of fans, and lots of fans say positive things about him, which I love.
And he was really
And
loyal to the fan base.
He was, a loyal person, loyal actor, and an all-round great person.
And he wasn't one of those actors who was like, oh, leave me alone, I don't want to talk about Power Rangers. He actually loved Power Rangers, being Tommy, and he came back as Lord Dracon in the Boom Studios. He worked with Boom Studios to make that kind of AU character. He came back to do Superpower Beatdown, so he worked with Eric Shinoki and the guy. So they were really, really, really lucky, like so lucky to work with him on that stuff, you know. And even like lately, they were working on Legend of the White Dragon, because Serena, I worked with Serena on Dixon Mason. And I was talking to her about it. She's like, oh, I'm going to be in this show. It's so wicked. And I was like, oh, that's so wicked. I won't tell no one, you know, like, you know, until, you know, she revealed it to everyone. And oh, man, I was
that will
jonesing to work with him, man.
Yeah, that will be his final role. And I think that film comes out in 2023, so next year. But we just sincerely want to offer our condolences to his wife and his family and his kids. That your dad has been a great inspiration to us, and
made a big difference.
We will miss him dearly because he was a great person.
But let me just get to the core of what Jason David Frank meant to us. Yeah, this guy was an amazing martial artist. He was such an inspiration to us in the R.E.P Knights and what we do. Our philosophy about helping people, progressing humanity, creating, content, being positive, and stuff like that. This has come from the whole genesis of what PR stands for, and generally all these kind of superhero types. And this is what I gravitate towards. And how I am as a person. I try to use my intelligence and my might to help people and to help myself and my family to, thrive. And that's what the PR community and just generally PR and everything felt to me. Even though it was created as a way for a company and, an entity to make money, this has grown, the fandom has grown into this massive community. And what I want to say is that all the other fans and members of the MMPR cast, the later Caesars, anyone who got touched by JDF, and is feeling this pain right now, we stand in solidarity with you. We give our sincere condolences as a team, and as individuals. That we really love JDF a lot. I wish I could have met him and given him a hug and shook his hand and said to him, brother, Sensei Sifu, you inspired me so much, in my life, and you'll never be forgotten by me and Z, and Chen and all of us R.E.P Knights. We will never forget you. Every time I stare at Dragon Dagger, I have a replica of Dragon Dagger. I have your Morpher. I have I have the original Morpher. I have a replica of Zai Sukin that was handmade by Shen, and I'll never lose that one because he made that. He made it out of cardboard. He used to make it himself, and he made it so wicked for me that even when I look at the film replica, sorry, not the show replica version I have of Zai Sukin, the Dragon Dagger, right? And I look at the original Bandai Toyo, the Dragon Dagger that I had to get back because I smashed my one when I was a kid, playing with Z, being the Green Ranger, and he was being the White Ranger. We were replicating that Green Ranger, White Ranger double battle.
Yep.
So it got smashed, and I've managed to kind of rebuild most of my collection now that I'm older. But the Zaya Sokin, the Dragon Dagger that he gave me, it just means a lot to me as a gift because it just reminds me of that time, and that childhood time. It's difficult, people can say, why are you sad about someone you've never met? Yeah, right. And this is an actor from a children's show that you kind of grew up watching. Why are you so sad? They don't understand what it means to me to have known this person in my life and the legacy he left behind. Because when I was young and I was really suicidal and sad, when I was being bullied by asshole dickheads, that I was growing up with, they made me feel so shit. And then Power Rangers came along. Power Rangers taught me courage. Power Rangers taught me to rise up. Power Rangers taught me to be strong and be brave and face evil head on and never give up and have this light within you. And it was the spectrums, the world has a spectrum of color. Everyone has diversity, and you can come together.
That's the most important thing, diversity.
Yeah, and you can come together and be this force of good. And then that is what started the genesis in my mind of what the R.E.P Knights are and what we stand for. We're a filmmaking team, but we want to grow beyond that and become more of a team that goes around in the world and helps people. And he helped me do that, and I just want to thank him. I want to thank him so deeply for that, and I want to give my sincere condolences to Amy Jo, JDS's wife, JDS's first wife, all of his kids, Austin, David, Walter, may Tui rest in peace as well. I hope her and Jason are watching down on us. I hope their souls shine on us, and we weather this sad storm, that we're feeling of sorrow, and we celebrate his life. You know, we celebrate who he is and the legacy he's left behind. There's a film that I wrote with Chen called Power Rangers Legacy, yeah, which was about Tommy and Jason going back in time with Zordon, you know, and you know, they had to repair the timeline that got broken by Zordon's twin brother, who was evil, and no one's seen it, no one knew about it. We just wrote it on the down low, and then Boom started their Lord Drakan stuff, so we kind of shelved it because we were like, okay, look, let Boom Studio run with what they've got, and one day hopefully I could make a feature film version of PR, and I could bring him back and, you know, do that story on a very epic stage. And I was just working. It was like one of the projects that I wanted to make, you know, when I got more up the ladder, and I hope one day I get to do something like that, like something that, you know, that pays homage to him, you know, in that way, and I hope that, you know, we get to honor him in some way in the future. And I just wanted to say thank you.
So may he rest in peace.